Throughout the Gilded Age and into the Progressive Era, robber barons and captains of industry exploited workers, immigrants, and children through harsh labor conditions, long hours, and unsanitary conditions. Social reformers sought to improve these conditions by approaching government with reform, organizing clubs and organizations, and investigating corruptions of big industries. Many of these reformers have been named muckrakers, a term coined by Theodore Roosevelt to describe their work raking the muck out of cities and big industries.
One major reformer was Jane Addams, educated at Rockford Female Seminary. She became an advocate for settlement houses. After exploring London's settlement houses, Addams brought Hull House to Chicago alongside Ellen Gates Starr. By providing childcare, education, a public kitchen, and recreation, Jane Addams created a beneficial environment for many working-class families. Florence Kelley was another social reformer who allowed the settlement house movement to grow. Through her investigations into tenements and sweatshop conditions in Chicago, she led to the 1893 Illinois law that prohibited child labor, limited women's working hours, and regulated sweatshops. One major achievement of hers was the National Consumers League, which encouraged business and shops she declared as fair in working conditions, wages, and hours.
Ellen Gates Starr was an important figure in the settlement house movement, as well as in improving immigrant labor conditions. Educated alongside Jane Addams, Ellen Gates Starr helped open Hull House. Working deeper, Starr helped advocate for child labor abolition and improving wages for immigrants. Starr often tried to advocate for the arts and helped encourage craftsmanship as a way to curb the ills of factory labor.
Jacob Riis was a notable muckraker in the fact that he used the lens to produce reform, his most famous work being How the Other Half Lives, which chronicles through photographs the conditions of factories and tenements families endured daily. Many people had become shocked at the horrendous conditions people endured. Most notably, the piece grabbed the attention of Theodore Roosevelt, who explored the conditions with Riis in order to establish efforts of reform.
Another notable muckraker is Samuel Hopkins Adams. His expose, The Great American Fraud, exposed the faults of the food and drug systems and their advertisements. He frequently wrote about the advertising of addictive drugs like cocaine and opium and their marketing to children, alcohol and its effects on families, and the careless prescription of dangerous drugs that hurt the body and often led to death. He often discussed the ignorant consumer who allowed doctors and their marketing to influence them in their safety. His piece was written at the same time as The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, which exposed the faults of the meat system, further advocating urgency. Outraged, many common people advocated the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906 and the creation of the U.S. Bureau of Chemistry to inspect food and drug products. In the end, social reformers helped advocate for many types of reform, whether it be factory conditions, immigrant treatment, or food inspection. Without these reformers, much of the working class wouldn't have seen improved conditions and the passage of many laws which promoted safety and reform. It is also important to see the lasting effect today, as many of the reforms have lasted and influenced workplace safety, living conditions, and protection against diseases within the modern age.